Saturday afternoon. He came up to the house, and we sat around and talked, and he's still awful sore, and, he had that tube down in his throat, and he was having a hard time talking. So we want to wish you well, D, and get well soon, because I miss you, brother, on air. We got with us this morning Coach Will Barnes of the Caldwell County Tigers. And, of course, tonight the Caldwell County Tigers take on the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado in a key district matchup. It's the first district game of the 2018 season. And, it starts out no better than probably the top two teams in the district, Will.
Paducah Tilghman's had a really good start to this year. Played Mayfield tough, and that's the only game that they've lost. But they've got a lot of guys back that played against us last year. It's going to be a really good challenge for us tonight.
Well, we're going to talk more about the Paducah Tilghman game, but let's go back a little bit and talk about last week's big win over a 6A school in the Henderson County Colonels. And, of course, it was a big night for me and the 1998 state championship team as well. And just a great night, and looked like a different team took the field than I saw the previous four games. Yeah,
we kind of put it together a little bit, and I think, these kids, it's kind of crazy. I remember the 98 team, when we were in Owensboro following it, but these kids weren't alive. So they still know, the 98 team is kind of talked about, and they know who they are. So I think it was good for some of them to see Stewart, have you come out and talk, and Billy Hooks. And I think that was a really good thing before the game to kind of hear some stories from what that year was like. And, Stewart and you and Billy all, did a great job talking to him. And I thought last week we had one of our best weeks of practice. And, that translated to Friday night, I thought.
It was, and again, we had, I think, 35 kids on our team back in 1998, and I believe 26 of the 35 showed up. So that was a pretty good turnout for a 20-year reunion.
It was good to see. So.
And, and a lot of work went into it, and I've got to give a big shout-out to Kim Farmer. Kim just did a great job of organizing that, and she had a lot of help, too. I know Christy Phelps, along with Vanessa Massey and Michelle Blackburn, they all got the food together, and just a great reception prior to the game. And, and it was good to see everyone back together again. And, of course, we'd have loved to have them all there, but for, unforeseen conditions, not all of them could make it in. But it was just a great night and a great crowd.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, one of the best crowds we've had in some time. And, the Tigers looked totally different to me. And man, we played with a lot of intensity on both sides of the football and in all three areas, really, the kicking game as well. And it was just so encouraging to see that effort last Friday night.
Yeah, it definitely was. And anytime we're playing, pretty good defense, you're going to have a chance in every game, and we've played pretty good defense all year. And even the games we've lost, we've had chances. And if we keep playing good defense, we're going to be okay, I think.
Well, I looked at Henderson County. Of course, they play a pretty competitive schedule, just
Definitely.
like we do. And they opened up, I believe, with Evansville Wrights and lost a close game to them, who's always a strong team over in the 6A, I believe, in the Evansville area. And the week prior, Gibson Southern, they're a really good football team, and they defeated them. I think it was the first regular season game that they've lost in a couple of years. They've gone to the playoffs about every year the last 4 or 5 years, and they've even advanced to the finals, I believe. So, they brought a very good football team over, and, we just hit them in the mouth right off the bat, it looked like, and kind of stunned them. And, they did score, go up 7-0 on us, but, just some outstanding individual performances on our part. Oliver Parker had probably one of the biggest nights that I've seen in some time.
Yeah, he, I was talking to Ken after the game, and he said, well, maybe we need to get Henderson, play them every week, because last year I think Oliver had 3 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns against them last year. And then Friday night he had another big night. So that was good to see. Gotten a little bit better rhythm offensively, and of course defensively they didn't really have an answer for us.
I was impressed with the quarterback for Henderson County. He looked like we had him contained most of the night.
Yeah, he's a really good player, a big kid. He's gotten better since last year. Last year I thought he was just solely a runner, couldn't throw it real well, and he threw it a little bit better this year, and we got after him pretty good.
And, I thought Joby Jaggers had an outstanding game for us. And, of course, he was rewarded for it. I think he got the Athlete of the Week on Channel 6.
Well, good. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so,
I saw it on TV, and he got, rewarded with the performance that he had the other night. And just a great effort on everyone's part, especially defensively. I think we got a defensive score there. Tilghman,
made a really
had a
nice
big
play.
game for us and got an interception, returned it for a score. And, we just really attacked them and never let them get into doing what they like to do, which is run the football.
Right. We were able to get up a couple scores, and then once, you get late in that ball game, they're trying to do stuff that they're not used to, playing from behind. So that definitely played into our favor, and we were able to, put them away there in the second half.
Another area that we've had some concerns in that I thought we really performed well was in the kicking game. Trip Branch did a great job of punting the ball. Our kicker, on the extra points, and we just, seemed to put it all together in that area as well.
Yeah, Trip, he's done a great job all year. I can think back to that Christian County game. Maybe I think it was the first punt we had all year. The snap was a little bit low, and it's hard to get that thing handled when it's on the ground and people are running after you. And he's done that a couple of times, made good plays, and he's punted the ball well all year. He's just a good athlete. And then Barrett, we finally kind of figured out the extra point thing last week and got it all timed up and put all the pieces together. So that was good to see, and just got to keep on getting better at that aspect as well.
Well, it was a great performance, and we don't want to leave any out. And I got a text last night from Brad Harrelson in regards to the 7th and 8th grade football teams. And the 8th grade won, I believe, 12-6 over a good Graves County team. Our 7th grade fell a little short in a 16-14 game. And it looks like the future is extremely bright for the Tigers. And the 7th and 8th grades, I know schedule's winding on down. There's probably not very many games left in this season.
I think they have 2 games maybe next week, and then they're going to wrap up. But I've got to see them a couple of times, and I think they've got some good skill, got a few good linemen out there. So and they play hard. So that's really good to see. And those coaches do a great job. Coach Kukiko and Coach Walls, Coach Harrelson, Coach Stevens, they all do a really good job. We're fortunate to have them working with our middle school.
Well, I know that they've only lost, 2 games, I believe?
I think you're right, yeah.
2 games, and they were very close games. One was against an undefeated team in Christian County.
Yeah.
And, they played really well against them. And, like you mentioned, there's not very many games left, and they've had a very successful season up to this point. And we want to wish them the best of luck.
Definitely.
Next week in their final 2 games. We're going to take a short break here and come back and talk a little bit more about this week's opponent, the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
Life can get messy. At Tri-Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the Fiber Guard and Leather Guard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains, and PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice's Incorporated in Princeton.
What does your morning sound like?
The itsy bitsy spider, rock-a-bye baby.
She's finally asleep.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
Can I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Back here at Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT, and once again, DT is unable to be with us this morning, and again, our thoughts and prayers are out with you, brother, and as you recover from your appendectomy, and, we want to see you back here soon. I've got with us here in the studio Will Barnes, Coach Will Barnes, the offensive coordinator of the Caldwell County Tigers, and we've been discussing last week's game against the Henderson County Colonels, a big win that's really got us a tremendous amount of confidence heading into this big district tilt tonight against the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado. Paducah Tilghman's 4-1 on the season, as you mentioned, Will, and their only blemish has come to a very powerful Mayfield Cardinal team. So we know right there that it's going to be another tough outing for us, and give us, some input on what to expect tonight.
Yeah, and that Mayfield game, it was 28-27 there in the first quarter. So, a lot of people think they're running wishbone and, they can't score points. But, they've got some playmakers in the backfield. They're good up front. And, if you don't pursue to the football, they can pop one pretty quick. They had a kick return for a touchdown against Mayfield. So, they've got athletes all over the field, and we've really got to do a good job pursuing to the football and wrapping up, making tackles and get them on the ground. They've got, similar to us, they've got a lot of guys back off last year's team. And, you think about their team last year, they had a pretty good team. Coach Duncan was just, trying to get his deal going, and they just got bit by the turnover bug and had some penalties, but they were, still a pretty good football team. This year I think they've cleaned some of that stuff up. They have a lot of similarities to a Coach Duncan coach team. Even though he's no longer with them, I don't know the head coach there, but he's obviously done a really good job keeping that thing going. I think their kids play pretty hard. And they've had a really good season. It's going to be a tough challenge for us for sure.
The head coach now is Jonathan Smith, and he's been a long-time assistant there at Paducah Tilghman. And as you mentioned, he took over for Coach Steve Duncan, I guess, early in the preseason. They almost started practice, I guess. And Coach Duncan suffered a mild stroke. And, of course, he's had some issues over the years, medical issues, and he felt like the doctors and all agreed that it was time to step away. And, I reached out to Coach Duncan this week to see if he would come on to the show. Of course, I know him pretty well over the years. He's been one of my good customers. And, while he was at Murray High School and, of course, now on at Paducah Tilghman. But he said that he's distanced himself from the team and that, he really didn't feel comfortable about coming on, which I can understand. And, when you step away, you probably just want to step away from it. And I don't know if he still attends the games or not. But he's a good football coach, and we know after having to compete against him after all those years, especially at Murray High. And, we go back to last year's game against Paducah Tilghman. And, of course, if it wasn't for the hook and ladder there toward the end of the game, we were very fortunate to come out on top.
We were, it was kind of a last-ditch effort to get down there, and we were fortunate enough to get down there and kick a field goal to win the game. So, I think going back to Coach Duncan, he was always, anytime you talk to him, he's talking about the kids, and I don't think he ever, makes it about himself. So that sounds, a lot like him, not to, kind of not be in the spotlight and try to make it about the kids.
He's very much involved, too, with the FCA and You know, I know his kids love to play for him, much just like they do for your dad here at Caldwell County. And but going back to Paducah Tilghman, when you think about Paducah Tilghman, you think about all their speed, and you know they're loaded with overall team speed, and that's going to be a big challenge for us tonight. But you know, we also have some good speed, especially in the secondary, and you know, I feel that the way we played against Henderson County, who had a pretty good speed as well, you know, we match up pretty well with them.
Yeah, it's they've, Tillman's probably got a couple more skill guys than Henderson, and they've got 3 or 4 guys that do a good job, running the football, and they'll throw it around a little bit, and the Freeman kid, that he's a big time track guy down there, so he's obviously got some speed. Number 8, the Askew kid, he was banged up last year against us, but still had a really good game. Colby Krim had a good, didn't play as much offense last year, but is another good skill kid they've got. They've got as good a skill guys as we'll see all year, and they're good up front too. They've got some good linemen to go along with those skill guys.
That's what I was fixing to say. Of course, being an old offensive line coach, I always look at the interior line. And of course, most of your games are determined by how well you play up front. And I was very impressed last year with Paducah Tilghman's offensive and defensive lines, and that's going to be a big challenge for our linemen tonight.
It will be. They're both sides of the ball. They're big up front, and they're a physical football team. But we can be physical too, and we've got to be able to match that physicality and come ready to play.
We were very physical last week, and I as I mentioned earlier, we look like night and day from what we've looked in the previous weeks, and it just seemed like that light switch just came on, and I really got after it, and of course we expect the same type of effort tonight against Tilghman. This is the biggest game of the year. I mean, of course, you always say the next game is the biggest one of the year, but this one in particular, because it's basically going to be for the district championship.
Well, when the 5 prior games to this, they're all getting you ready for the district play, no matter who, what district game it is. We want to win all the district games. This is the first one, so right now it is the biggest one, and after tonight we'll move on and worry about that. But our primary focus is going 1-0 in the district, and get started off on the right foot.
The previous 5 games, as you mentioned, were 5 tough football games on our part. And, of course, I know Coach Barnes does that. He schedules those teams to get you ready for district competition. And, of course, Tilghman's played some good football teams as well.
Definitely.
And we've got a couple, or I know one common opponent that we've played already. It's Hopkinsville. And I think they play Christian County, too, in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So we got similar schedules to one another. And it's going to be a big ball game. Of course, we've got to go down there and play in their backyard. And I just heard Mr. Bill Booth's weather forecast said rain is in the forecast. And, if it does rain, how do you think that might play into the game tonight?
Whatever I'm not a weather expert. I don't even look at it hardly anymore. But, if it rains, we got to play in it. And it's not going to change anything, we do offensively or defensively, I don't think. So, we've got to play through whatever the conditions are.
We've also been joined here in the studio by your dad, Coach David Barnes. And, Coach, thank you for coming in once again.
Thank you.
Coach, we've been sitting here talking to Will about tonight's game and your impressions from last week's performance. Tell us what you thought.
Coming out of last week's game, we made a lot of improvement in some areas that we need to get better in. One was reducing our penalties. And I thought we did a good job of that until the last quarter. We had 2 penalties in the fourth quarter there that we shouldn't have gotten, but, we did a lot better in that regard. And I thought we did a good job in the red zone defensively, and we knew that Henderson could run the football, so we kind of packed the box on them a little bit and played a lot more man coverage. against them, and I felt like we did a really good job against the quarterback and against their run game. And I think they had 54 yards of rushing, which that was a great job by our defense.
And I thought we ran the ball really well. The Hollowell kid and Jameer Riley especially came up with some outstanding performances.
And to win football games, you got to be able to run the football. You can't throw it every snap. And we're in an offense where we're pretty much 50-50 right now, which is pretty good. And Derek Hollowell's come a long way for us. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Derek is he does a great job blocking for us as well.
Well, we've just harped on the performance that we had last week, and I know this week is, when you come off a performance like that, you probably got a few people banged up. I mean, they were throwing their bodies around. So how is the injury situation with our team?
Ben Thompson, one of our offensive linemen, he's going to go tonight, but he banged his knee up a little bit last week. He's practiced, and he's going to give it a go. And Derek Caldwell, he came out of the game, but he came back and played really well. So he's kind of banged up a little bit, but he's practiced this week, and I think he'll be able to go. So we got everybody going. They may be banged up a little bit, but it was the same thing last year. We went in the Paducah Tilghman game last year, and Hunter Vantage, who doesn't play, he's banged. He got hurt versus Henderson, one of our better linebackers. So
and he didn't even play against Tilghman last year.
No, he did not even play. So
right. And his little brother really stepped in last week and come up with a big game for us.
A big interception and 4 touchdowns. And I was talking to Ben after the game, and Ben said, I didn't know if he was going to make it to the end zone or not. That was a great play. And it almost looked like Hunter up from last year.
Yeah. I told Hunter he's after him. He's going to get his record. He's out there. We're going to take another short break here and hear from our sponsors and come back and talk a little bit more about tonight's game against the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton.
What does your morning sound like?
Morning, Al.
Next stop, 32nd Street.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Hi, can I get an Egg McMuffin, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Back here at Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT at 103.3 FM, The Tiger. Once again, minus my good friend Dennis Tomic, who is recovering at home from his stay in the hospital and his appendectomy, and we want to wish him the best and can't wait for him to get back on here. We've been sitting here talking about tonight's game against the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado with Coach Will Barnes and Coach David Barnes, and I've got my good man here, Bill Booth, at the controls. And last night was a big night for the Cleveland Browns.
Gator, I'm ashamed to say I went to bed at halftime because I had to get up early. I had my son watch the game. He said, if they put that rookie quarterback, I think the Browns could. Cleveland, first win since December 2016. Adult beverage company, Bud Light. Did you see that?
I saw that.
They had all these coolers padlocked. And they said when Cleveland won, they were going to open. So, of course, and the tweet from the police department was hilarious. It said, please be careful, be responsible, don't over-celebrate. But, man, the Browns fans, they were giving Tyrod Taylor down the road. And when they put in that kid, he got it done.
I think he was injured, toward the end of the first half.
Did you see they passed to him for the win? I think they had a trick play and then they passed to what's the young man's name that I'm trying to remember who
Baker Mayfield.
Baker, he used to play for Oklahoma.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he didn't look like a rookie to me last night.
Of course, the fans they were chanting, "We want Baker."
I
throughout.
felt so sorry for the starting quarterback, because he had a tough way to go and. the offensive line at time for the Browns was a little porous.
Yeah.
you had to be alert.
Yeah,
But
Tyrod Taylor, I think he earned his keep while he was in there, and
my gosh.
he took some big hits during that game last night. And me, much like you, I fell asleep, I think, in the third quarter, and they were behind.
And I was cheering for him. Come on.
Actually, it was tied. No, I think they tied it on the 2-point conversion to Baker Mayfield. Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how old I am, Will. I was looking, and under the teams, it had their records for this season. And my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. And I thought, how in the heck can Cleveland be 0-11? This is only the third, but it's 0-1. They actually had a tie this year.
Yeah.
So now they're 1-1-1.
And, of course, they've had their kicking woes as well. And I think Cleveland had a new kicker last night.
Looked like one of my golf shots. It looked like it was going to miss, and then he brought her in, their first field goal.
That very first field goal, it looked like it was going left,
Coach?
and it took a right turn there. It was.
Oh, my God. But how exciting. And that's a team that loves football, and those fans come out. They've been coming out since December 2016, and how nice to be there and get to break the streak and break it at home.
It was, and it was a tremendous win for the Brownies, and
Coach McClung was pretty excited.
That's right. Coach McClung is a big Cleveland Browns fan.
So he is fired up.
And of course, I think doesn't he go to the draft?
I think he's been to the draft.
He's been
before,
to the draft before, wearing his Browns.
Should go. It's in Nashville this year.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Nashville, so maybe there'll be quite a few locals that attend that. But it was a big win for the Cleveland Browns, and. Of course, this weekend's a big weekend for college football. There's a lot of key matchups.
9.5-point underdog, the Cats to Mississippi State. Do you guys agree with that?
You know what I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky in those points. I really feel like that Kentucky may win outright.
Here's my bold-faced prediction. If Mr. Snell stays healthy Saturday, I think the Cats can beat Mississippi State.
I agree with
you. But they got to, because he can run the ball against it. It doesn't matter who's line in the SEC. If you can run the ball, you got a chance. That opens it up, and that's now he's a heck of a back.
And Touchdown Terry has improved each and every game.
Sir.
Their quarterback, and he's gaining more confidence each and every game.
So you like
I kind of like Kentucky, but I know Mississippi State is awful strong. I watched them play some against the Kansas State out at Kansas State, and Bill Snyder always has some really good football teams out there, and Mississippi State gave them a whipping in their own backyard. And it's going to be a tough challenge, but it's one I think that Kentucky has been looking forward to. Mm-hmm. The biggest improvements I see in that football team is the play of their offensive and defensive lines. They've got SEC caliber players up front now, and they've got depth.
And you got to be about 2 deep. You really do.
You do, and they got depth. And they can run in, I think, 8 defensive linemen there, and there's not a lot of difference between them. And it's going to take a big effort on their part. But, I know it's one that Kentucky fans are looking forward to Saturday night. And, being in Kroger Field, it's hard to get used to saying Kroger
That's what
Field
Todd said yesterday.
Instead of Commonwealth Stadium.
Do you think it'll be a sellout? Need a big old fat crowd out there.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a sellout. Of course, I heard Matt Jones on the radio on KSR. Of course, I tune into him every now and then, and he bought like 200 or 300 tickets for the game and is giving them away to different people. And of course, he said they wasn't the best of seats in the stadium, but they're trying their best to get a sellout crowd there. And of course, being in a night game, and of course the weather may play a part into that game as well. Depending on where it goes, I know. Off and on, it's supposed to be raining throughout the entire weekend, and but you can't look away. You just got to play in the elements.
Mm-hmm. That's true, right, Coach Will. You said it. It doesn't matter if it's
you can't control it. So if
it's a muddy field, it doesn't matter. You got to play. Everybody's got to play in the same field, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll see. I think the Cats. I think Mr. Snell stays in that game. I think they could surprise Mississippi State.
And, they've got another running back, number 10, I believe is his number, that I can't recall.
A.J. Rose.
Yeah. He's done a really good job of coming in and spelling Benny Snell some in the backfield. And, of course, they got some outstanding receivers, too. they're really solid. I mean, and I made the bold comment. I thought they'd win possibly 8, 9, maybe 10 games this year.
Oh, hey,
that's
now.
That's going out on the limb. But of course, I know they got to go to Texas A&M. And they got to play Georgia at home. But anything can happen. And
well, that's true though.
Missouri's got. The SEC is pretty solid. Especially in their division this year. They're a lot better. I think. Missouri's a much improved football team. Vanderbilt. Went to Notre Dame last weekend and gave them a scare.
Mm-hmm.
But, and looking at some other games, the Purdue Boilermakers are at home again. Of course, I know they're disappointed being 0-3, and they've got a good football team coming in, Boston College. And they're a much improved team as well. And, of course, Elijah Sindelar, I believe, is injured. Have either one of y'all been able to talk to him this week to see?
No.
But I think he's got a hamstring injury or a groin or
I think it's hamstring.
Is it hamstring?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. So he's nursing an injury. And, of course, Blau quarterbacked all last week against Missouri, and that game went right down. They've lost 2 games back-to-back on last-second field goals with no time left on the clock. So, and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, they go on the road this week against Ball State.
My Hilltoppers got to get it
My
going.
Hilltoppers,
oh, they're hurting me.
Man, what a performance last week against Louisville. And I know Louisville's probably not as strong as they've been in the past, but going up there and laying it on the line the way they did for 3.5 quarters, it looked like they were in control of that game and kind of slipped away there at the end. But and D. Kane got to play quite a bit, for the Hilltoppers.
Playing against their old coach.
Playing against, yeah. And, it was just a great weekend, and we're looking forward to another great weekend of college football.
Oh, yeah. That's Saturday. I sit on the couch and watch from 11 o'clock in the morning till I go to sleep, pretty much.
Of course, it gets started tonight.
Yeah.
Kicks off, with high school football on Friday night.
Absolutely.
And, there's some big games in the area.
I don't think there's a bigger game sound like a homer now, but then Caldwell Tilghman this week. I think that's as big as any game on the schedule
That's
this
the
week.
top game in this area, and I know a lot of people are looking at the Mayfield-Corbin game as being a major game. It's going to be played at Austin Peay. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, it's going to be at Austin Peay.
It's at Austin Peay.
Boy, what a job they've done on that stadium in Clarksville. It looks like a totally different place.
And what a job they've done with that program.
Yeah. That coach, this may be his. I can't see him, and somebody's going to snatch him up.
Yeah.
Philosophy. He's great.
I thought maybe last year
I did too.
And of course, they kind of got shafted there toward the end of the year, I felt like. They didn't get a bowl bid or a playoff bid. And, I know they were disappointed in that respect, but he's done an outstanding job there, and, they're going to be lucky to keep him around.
Yeah, they've done a good job down there for sure.
The Murray State Racers, who do they play this week?
I will do some research. I was like, I know who they played last week, but okay.
Well, we got to try to keep up with the Racers as well, and I know they've struggled a little bit, but they're trying to keep their head above water and trying to get better each and every week. But
looks like they've got let's see, on the 29th they've got Tennessee Martin, but
they might be open this week.
I think it's an open week, Coach, and then they've got UT Martin.
Well, they'll win that game.
The Skyhawks. I can still call them the Pacers.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
UT Martin.
UT Martin.
UT Martin.
It's an evening game too.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, let's take one more short break here, Bill.
Okay, and then
hear from our sponsors.
I want to ask what you guys think about the Titans-Jags game when we come back Sunday. We got any Titans fans? Yeah.
I got a Jaguars connection. So
do you? Okay.
I'll share that.
I don't think you have a lot to worry about. I don't know. We'll see. If depends upon who's quarterback. We'll be back in a minute with DT and Gator here.
Life can get messy. At Tri-Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the Fiber Guard and Leather Guard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Tri-Hughes Incorporated in Princeton.
What does your morning sound like?
Itsy bitsy spider. Rock-a-bye, baby.
She's finally asleep.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
Can I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, please?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Back here at Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. Once again, my good friend DT is still at home recuperating, and we want to wish him well and hope he's tuning in and listening. We've been reminiscing here about last week's game as well as this upcoming game this week against the Paducah Tilghman Blue Tornado in a key district matchup. You got a 4-1 Paducah Tilghman team against the 3-2 Caldwell County Tigers at McWright Field, I believe is what it's called there at Paducah Tilghman at 7 p.m. And WPKY will be live streaming the game.
I heard that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It'll be at WPKYonline.com.
If you can attend, of course, we encourage you to go
attend.
and show your support. Caldwell County always travels well. They always.
That's true.
They always fill up that side, and without that support, I mean, that gives that added incentive that we need. Will.
Yeah, it's always great to have fans at the game, and a lot of times when we go places, we've got more people there than the team we're playing at their home field. So that's always great to see when we've always had great fan support, and it's really good to have.
And of course, we're the hunted now instead of, we've been the king of the hill in the district.
I think it's harder to be the hunted, don't you, Coach, than to be the underdog.
You do, and of course, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's and make sure that you're clicking on all cylinders. And, I feel like with the performance that we put forth last week, that's got to give our kids a ton of confidence going into tonight's game.
Yeah, I hope so. You go back to last week, I think we had a good week of practice, and that translated. And then, we've got to be able to take, practice and translate it into the game tonight and control what we can control and take care of the football and see how it plays out.
Practice for coaches is the perfect indicator, of at least psychologically how your team is going to respond.
Yeah, I think so. I know that's coach talk, but
yeah.
I think there's a lot to it. You're going to play how you practice.
You either have a good week or not so good week, and and then of course I've seen it work the other way around. You not practice well, and your team come out and play well. So, but we want to play well, and of course we've been talking that this is probably for the district not. Take nothing away from the rest of the district teams, but Paducah Tilghman and Caldwell's been 1-2 for the last, several years. And, I know Trigg County is a much improved football team, and Union County is, they've come up with some big wins this year.
Yeah, they're undefeated and, beat Madisonville. I know that was a big win for them.
That was a big win.
And then I think they've got Crittenden tonight, so I think that'll be a pretty good game too.
That'll be a good indicator. Crittenden County's a good football team.
They
I know
are.
we probably didn't play our best against them, but they definitely came over and gave the effort, and they're going to win a lot of football games.
They're a good
in Class
team.
A.
They are a good team.
And I think that most of our opponents that we've seen so far are going to have pretty good seasons. I know Hopkinsville's fallen upon hard times. They lost their quarterback for the season, and of course, he performed well against us. But we seem to be getting better at the right time, and That's
kind of what we talk about. We want to keep getting better each week, and then we want to be playing our best football once the district starts, and then keep on getting better. And then, you want to be, when it hits October, November, you want to be playing your best football of the year.
October's almost here.
I know, it's flown by.
Isn't that something? And, of course, who would ever thunk that here it is, September the 21st, and it's going to be 91 degrees today.
Yeah.
And
Indian summer.
Hopefully this weekend will be a good indicator of fall.
I'm all about a high of 70. I don't know about you.
I am too. We've been talking a little bit about some of our former Tigers playing in college, and we didn't mean to leave this one out, but Jalen Boyd has had some outstanding games the last couple of weeks.
He had, I think, 6 touches last week and had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the prior week before, he had 100-some yards rushing and a couple touchdowns. So their game got canceled this weekend, and they ended up picking up Presbyterian College for next Thursday night, which is a higher division school. So, we're really proud of Jalen and what he's getting done up there. If you want to know about it, just find Warwick. Warwick will tell you all about it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, follow him on make sure you're friends with him on Facebook. Those videos are pretty good.
Warwick Board. Make sure you tune into him. He'll keep you posted. Also, Youth Incorporated is in full swing now. I know, they probably got games tomorrow.
Last week they were they played here and they had 4 games. And I don't know where they are this weekend. If they're here or away.
And, of course, fall sports is winding down. It won't be long, David. Of course, one of your duties is athletic director, and here it is almost soccer district time. Is it the first week of October?
It's usually right around fall break. So
right around fall, and we're not too far from fall break.
And how about the volleyball team? They clinched the top seed last night.
Yeah.
It's a great performance by them.
And, Daniel Portner was one of our players on the 98 team. He was unable to attend our ceremony out here last week, and he's got some type of position in the State Volleyball Association, and he had to attend a meeting and was unable to attend. But he's just done a terrific job since Sue Stone has left, and it just carried that tradition right on with our volleyball.
And their district will start up here for long too.
Yeah, it's normally about a week after the soccer, I believe, or normally the districts are, and I mean it's winding on down. Of course, our golf team, I guess we can call it our golf team. We've got two. We got two. We got the 2 North girls, and Brandy and Brandon's daughters are playing, and Campbell and Claire. And we want to wish them the best of luck. I think they'll probably be competing here in the regional here in the upcoming weeks. So we don't want to leave anybody out, in the sports at Caldwell County High School, and the middle school as well. Middle school is winding on down, and we just want to, give a shout out. There is one shout out I need to give, and I almost forgot about it. My sister-in-law, Debbie Bichon. I want to wish her a happy birthday yesterday. We had a celebration last night, and she's a big sports fan, and of course my wife's sister, and she's just like another mother to my daughters and my grandchildren, and we want to wish her a happy birthday. Bill, you got anything else you'd like to add?
I got to ask Coach Will, if you got a connection with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Is Fournette, is he still out?
No, the only thing I know about the Jaguars is one of their top receivers, Keelan Cole, and I played college football with him at Kentucky Wesleyan. So he's a pretty good story. Walked on at Wesleyan, didn't really play a whole lot in high school. Got a little bit taller, worked really hard, and ended up being a Division II All-American. Didn't get drafted, was an undrafted free agent, and I think he's the Jaguars' #1 receiver now. He had the big one-handed catch last week.
So if you don't have him on your fantasy team, if he's still available.
Yeah, he's a good one. Coach Riley's got him.
I remember him last year. Didn't he make some big catches against New England?
Yeah, he came on.
Yeah, they're for real.
Yeah, kind of came on late in the year. So that's a good story. He's a good guy.
Well, that's always good to see. Well,
that's about it, isn't it?
That's about it, and we appreciate everyone for tuning in. We're cutting it a little short this morning. I've got an appointment I've got to be.
You better not miss that appointment.
I better not miss this
appointment. You will be in trouble.
And, once again, we want to wish DT a speedy recovery.
Do you think what are the chances? Is he going to be an injured reserve next week? Or do you think we'll put him in?
Well, we hope he's back.
Okay.
Yeah, it was my hope he was going to be here this morning. He was going to try it, and sometimes that he didn't get home from the hospital until Wednesday.
Well, if not, we'll just get him on the phone.
Will Brown and I went to visiting him in the hospital last Saturday morning, and he's had a rough time, and that's a serious condition, but he's recovering pretty fastly, and we want to wish him the best, and of course his wife Janie and daughter Lindsay's there with him, and we want to wish him a speedy recovery, and we want him back here in this chair with us to give us his insight.
When he comes back next week, we'll be talking about being 1-0 in the district.
Yes,
it'll be a good thing.
Big game tonight. We want everyone here in Princeton and Caldwell County, if they can make it, to McWright Field down at Paducah, Tilghman, and just a beautiful field. They have a good field to play on, and if you can't make it, tune in to 103.3 FM and hear the play-by-play by
Dennis and Bob.
Bring it to you, and you'll be able to get on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, you go to WPKYonline.com. You can hear the audio during the game, but then after the game, it will be a video up too. So
okay.
Look forward to it.
I've got to shout out one person. I've got the guy that was the best man at my wedding. He's tuned in just about every week, listens to the radio. So Hunter Jago is in Owensboro at Jago Homes, working and listening to us today. So I appreciate him.
And that's a big shout out to Hunter. And I want to give another shout out, Sally Harrelson. Sally tunes in each and every Friday morning and listens to, and I know she's worried to death about DT as well, but Pam Phelps told, my wife that she tunes in religiously to listen to us, and, and we appreciate that. We appreciate everyone that does, and I don't know if we give them too much. They must be pretty bored to listen to us, but we enjoy doing it.
I don't think
and
so.
Appreciate, WPKY allowing us to bring this to you.
Oh, it's good stuff, yeah.
Anything else, Coach?
Yeah, I want to thank you for last week. You came and talked to our kids before the game, and that meant a lot to those kids. And Stuart did an excellent job. Stuart played the game. He played here, and you could tell from what he said what Caldwell County Tiger football means to him. And I think we could put Billy Hooks in the game, and I think he could help us out Friday night.
One thing about Billy Hooks, he tells it like it is. And he
was fired up.
He was fired up. He sure was. And, the way he talked is the way he played. And Stuart as well. I mean, those were two outstanding. That whole team, though, they were just very special, very intelligent, very intelligent. You weigh your team's success by the type of intelligence that they, and of course, every one of them was the top of their class.
Yeah.
And I mean, in grade point averages and valedictorians, and they were just so together on everything, and that's what they try to express to your team Friday night about playing together as a team, and and they showed it.
Yeah.
And we look forward to tonight, and I know everyone want to hear it.
Paducah paper again picked everybody they picked against us. So every one of them picked against us. They did last week, so it turned out well. So we appreciate them doing that again, and hopefully at some point we'll get some respect with Paducah people. But right now, I just don't think we can beat Tilghman.
I heard Ed Marlowe yesterday trying to cover up from last week of all their picks.
Todd kind of took him to task
a
little bit.
Todd did a good job of putting him on the line, but once again, they picked Tilghman, and, rightfully, I guess, they have to. They're living down there. The Paducah people would be on them, but I know all of our people here picked Caldwell, so I believe they all picked Caldwell, didn't they, in the paper?
One didn't.
Who's that, Chip?
Yeah. Chip?
Oh, we're going to have to get on Chip now. Chip Hutchison, if you're listening out there, you're going to have to change your picks. It's not too late.
He might be trying to gain ground. Maybe he's behind.
Yeah.
And everybody picked one way.
Well, we're all hoping for a Tiger win tonight. Set this weekend off and rain stay away.
Yes.
Till after the game, we want a good crowd down there, and I know our people will be in full support.
That sounds like a plan.
That about wraps us up.
All right, Gator. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Will
gentlemen.
and David, for coming in.
There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle. The sales team has combined experience of over